Welcome back to another episode of Wreck Nation. In this episode, we're going to keep working on this track sled right here. So we're going to start off with the tunnel. First thing we've done, I've taken the bolts out to get their suspension out from underneath the tunnel. What I want to do is actually run some flat iron down both sides. And what I'll do is help strengthen this tunnel. And we'll use that for mounting on the dash, the motor, any driveline components we need to, and then there'll be a rack on the front. So let's get started on that. Okay, the other thing we're gonna have to do is all along the side here, this is where the old seat used to clip on. We're gonna have to get those out of the way so that the metal can lay flat on the side. And just knock them off. All right. Now we can bolt our flat iron on. All right. Now we got the extra support in place. The next step is going to be to locate the dash. So from the factory it had these two mounts with clips like this, but we're going to bolt those on. Now we can get the dash exactly where we want it on there. Right about there to the back. Now we can drill those two holes. Now we can finish bolting that on. All right, so we have the dash mounted. It's bolted on here. I started trying to line up where we need the handlebars. So you can see I put the chariot on the back just to get a guesstimate of where these need to be. It looks kind of right in there. So the next step, this piece here is actually the original mount that was used to hold the dash and the steering. We're going to grind that off and we'll mount that back here as a support for the steering stem. We'll get started on that. Okay. There is the piece that we needed. This will fit right up under there, like so. Then we'll be able to mount the steering to it and kind of help hold it in place. So the first thing we're going to have to do is get a way to attach this to the bed here. We're going to use the 3/4 inch square bar. That'll get mounted to the side. So to get the width that we need here, all right, 7 1/4 inches is what it actually comes up to be. So we'll make two pieces that's 7 1/4 by 2 inches tall. So what we need is a 2-inch piece here, so we can mount that to the side, and then a 7-inch piece that we'll weld to the mount. So what we're going to do is we'll mark it at 2 inches, here. And we'll take our square. And what we want is a 45 degree angle. So we cut this out, we can bend it flat, and it'll be a 90-degree bend. So we put that on the edge. We mark our 45. We can draw that line. And then we'll do the same the other way. Put that on the corner. Mark our 45. Draw that line. Alright, so this is the part we're removing. We'll cut that in. There's a triangle piece we cut out. Now we should be able to bend this around. And it'll make a right angle. There, she's at 90 degrees. And we'll weld that into place. Now that that angle's welded, we can measure 7 1/4 inches in, cut this off, and we have our first one done. We'll make another one for the other side, then attach it to the frame. All right, so we have our 7-inch piece. I'm actually gonna cut this end at a 45. You're probably thinking this is a 45 degree angle, so you could always just use that. That's what I'm gonna do here, make it simple. Yeah, don't quite fit in there. All right, now that piece is done, and we can go tack them on each side. Okay, so we got the steering mounted now. You can see the brackets that we made earlier. Again, this is pretty weak. I didn't trust that to mount anything to it. That's the reason we added the flat stock to the sides, so we could use that to mount everything. It seems pretty sturdy. It's actually pretty comfortable too. It's kind of like you're riding on a cruiser. And it's sturdy enough that you can use this to pick the front end up and turn the track sled. So I think it'll work pretty well. I'll give you a close-up of how we mounted that. So it's not real pretty, but it'll work. You can see that's the original steering mount right there. This is the original steering mount that was on the front. You can see where we cut that off here, and kind of put it back in place, made this framework for it. We put new bolts in here and here, so that's solid. And then we welded it across the bottom so it can't turn. And that's the steering mechanism. Okay, so you get to see how the steering works up close. I got to put the footholds on yet for your feet to rest in. We'll do that later. Next up, we'll start mounting the motor. So, starting to come together a little bit. Hopefully you like this week's episode. Join us again for another episode of Wreck Nation. Have a good day.